Welcome to another edition of EdTalks. This one's special to me because I actually know both our guests because I've been serving as a board advisor for a couple of years, and we have history actually beyond that. So it's kind of cool thing. So I want to introduce my friends Shikha and Divyansh, and they are from DTX Plus. So Shikha, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ed. Nice to see you again as always. I'm one of the co-founders in the organization. Divyansh and I actually husband and wife also. So we get to work together and live together and do everything together. Prior to doing everything together with Divyansh, my first career, I was a professional tennis player. I got to represent India. I was top 100 in the world on the WTA tour. Retired and finished my undergrad at Princeton University, which I left to go play tennis. So a decade later, I went back and I finished and got into utilizing technology and media to make sweeping change swiftly for masses. That was like my thesis, my new life thesis. And Divyansh and I actually co-founded a previous company in consumer engagement. And during COVID, we got a little bit struck by what's going on in healthcare, did not know it because we're not originally from healthcare, and said it's really interesting how there's such little health equity in the country. We got to do something about it, and really dove hard into the healthcare industry with a really great product, which we're going to be telling you about today. But yeah, I moved from tennis, did a little TV, and now heavily into tech and loving what I'm doing here. Thanks, Ed.
That's awesome. Divyansh, do you play tennis as well? And then, who wins?
No, I've played tennis with Shikha all 3 times, and needless to say, she won. I was doing my best to keep the ball in the court, but no, that's something that's definitely all hers.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let's jump into DTX Plus.
Let's do it. Yeah. So I'm Divyansh Bajpai, one of the co-founders here. As Shikha mentioned, we're partners in business, life, and crime. We'll talk about the crime part some other time, maybe. This is not the forum for it, but I have a background in computer science. I had most of my career was focused on all the things that are surrounding entrepreneurship broadly. So business development, executive management, operations, the whole gamut. And that kind of has coalesced into this moment in time where we felt there was an opportunity in AI systems, how they're going to be deployed. There's obviously a really massive shift going on. And I'm trying to leverage the background both on the technical side and the business development and operations side to help us put up a system that people are going to want to use that does it safely and responsibly, delivers value to our customers and our shareholders. And that's the long and short of it. But I'm more excited about talking about the platform itself.
Yeah, and so it's like like an AI orchestration platform?
Exactly. Yes, we're taking a little bit of a different spin on it. I mean, one of the things that we did a little differently was, there's a lot of companies, everybody's hearing about AI bots doing this and doing that, and it generally tends to be relatively short-sighted, in our opinion. We could be proven wrong about that. We'll see. That's what we're working on. But the idea for us was rather than just looking at a problem and saying, "Hey, I can have a bot do that," we're trying to look another 3, 4, 5 years down the road and say, if I was to re-engineer a system where this thing is being utilized in lieu of other things that are costly, expensive, capacity constrained, for example, what could we do? And that's essentially what we've constructed this platform for. So like you said, AI care orchestration, the idea being that, right now people tend to agree. You talk to some doctors and nurses and everybody will kind of nod their head when you say people get good care in a clinic, in a hospital, in front of a doctor or nurse here in the United States, more generally globally. The problem is that now you're sent home after that encounter and you're expected to do things, stay on a medication regimen, adhere to diet, this, that, and that's where it gets difficult. And we can use a system like this to help.
Yeah, I love that. And I know you're coming out of stealth mode and you can't necessarily remove all the covers for our audience, but can you share maybe one or two examples, either one of you, of what you're doing today with a client?
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah, go for it, Shika.
One of our clients is in dermatology, and we're working with their patients post-surgery, I would say Mohs and excisions types of surgeries. And what we found was, to compare Mohs surgeries to heart failure, it's significantly less acute, but the need remains the same. One interesting uncovering was how much people want to talk and just engage with Carrie. She's got memory inbuilt. She is highly fluent in that patient's both medical requirements through the EMR record integration, as well as their personal lifestyle, their personality, their language. So she really adapts in real time to that person. And so patients love to talk to her, and specifically geriatric patients like to speak to her at all hours of the day and night about a variety of different things. And they use the word comforting a lot when speaking about care, even if the care window closed for their Mohs surgery and such, and they're fine. They love that engagement with her, and it sustains, which feels really rewarding. And it's a warm feeling to hear that and see that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I know you're working with some health systems as well. Divyansh, anything else that you'd want to add?
Yeah, I think it's you'll hear this as a recurring refrain from us that we talk about. One, the fact that you can leverage a system like this to develop a relationship with people, that's one of the
Yeah.
key differentiators in how we've taken a specific sort of tangential tack here, that let's not just have it work for the provider, i.e. a doctor's office or a hospital, calling out and doing jobs for them. Instead, we tried to engineer it for, as a patient, what do I need? What kind of interaction styles are important to me? How does information need to flow? All of that is kind of how we engineered it. And then we paired that with a really sophisticated integration system on the provider side, so that, again, we're talking to people, collecting information, delivering it back to the providers. And that's where the orchestration part comes in, because the integration architecture allows us to also get things done on behalf of patients and providers. For example, scheduling appointments, rescheduling, no-show risk mitigation, helping patients understand the importance of taking their meds. We're doing things in specialty, as Shikha indicated, with dermatology, ortho, GI, etc. But we're also looking at complex chronic disease. People will have heart failure, cancer, that are on chemo, and they're always really different kinds of paradigms. But what's consistent is that people want a thing that's available. They want it to be nice to them. They want it to be useful and maintain memory, but not just like, I know I called you 3 weeks back, but what did we talk about? What's important to you? What are my children's and grandchildren's names? When do I like being called and not
Yeah.
being called? That's really what we focused on.
Yeah, I love that. I can see great need why there's so much interest in DTX Plus. Shika, do people get a hold of you all?
Yes, they can email me. They can even call me. We're in such a growth mode right now. Email's the best. I'm always on it. I seem to be nocturnal these days. So I'm happy to share that email with
Yeah.
you, Ed, and we can list it here. But shikha@dtxplus.com. It's as simple as that. Would love to chat and would love to learn more about folks' needs.
Yeah, love that. I will add all that in the show notes and in the comments
Okay.
and have your website and both of your emails. Thank you so much for sharing what's going on. It's super exciting to see a company going through this process and you're actually like live and making it. That's awesome. Welcome.